Hello and welcome to the Just Interesting podcast, the show that's not interesting, not too interesting, but just interesting enough. Rowan liked that.
It was very good. That was unexpected.
Great, Alex. That was great.
You've been thinking about that for a while.
Yeah, have a little bit.
When you did the intro, Alex, had it pre-planned. Very good.
Oh, let me just, wasn't expecting to have to give a speech.
The jazz flute out
the old sleep.
So joining me today, me, Alex, on the podcast today are Martin.
Hello. I've got an I am a tosser mug. So,
Good.
Fun fact.
Good start. And Robin, how are you today?
I'm all right, thank you. How are you two?
I'm good. I'm energized.
Having fun.
Yeah.
You know what I learned this week?
What did you learn this week?
I learned the names of the 7 key founding fathers of America.
I thought you were about to say the Seven Dwarfs.
No, not 7 dwarves. I knew those names already.
Go on then.
No.
Founding
But
fathers.
can you tell me? Yeah, who did you say?
No, I can't tell you.
The 7
Go on,
most
just
important founding fathers.
This wasn't a. This
isn't
a
the quiz.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, it was interesting because the obvious ones, John Adams,
Yes.
Benjamin Franklin,
They're the ones.
yeah.
they're the ones.
Alexander Hamilton,
Of course.
I think everyone
Yeah.
knows that one now, Thomas Jefferson,
Yep.
George Washington,
Easy.
Rings a bell.
James Madison,
Rings a bell too.
John Jay.
Okay, not so much.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
I was like, John Jay, who's that? Sorry, American listeners and
Who've
American viewers.
learnt this for years,
Probably
since
know
the age
this
of
and
5.
think, John Jay, how can you not know who he is? Over here, never heard of him before.
Yeah.
So that
Or
was,
John.
that was the thing I learned
He's
this
the
week.
only one that didn't become a household name across the world.
And maybe he
John
is.
Others.
Maybe in like
Yeah.
Moldova, he's
think-
the person that everyone goes, John Jay.
Yeah,
He's one of
Moldova,
the
yeah.
American founding fathers.
I feel like American
enough.
propaganda, particularly in Hollywood, has let John Jay down.
We
Yeah.
need a John Jay biopic.
We do.
Stat.
We do. We need him to
I
be
wonder if there is
name-checked
one.
every movie. There must be one somewhere.
Somewhere where he's
Yeah.
included as a prominent role.
Yeah.
I know, that's
Apparently,
good.
the phrase "founding fathers," extra fact, was coined by President Warren G. Harding in 1916.
Okay.
So it wasn't a thing before then.
Wow.
Apparently.
That's
Really?
strange that it happened so late. I
Yeah,
guess.
I thought, like, particularly in America, being like, oh yeah, the founding fathers would be there from day one.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
No, but I guess back then it'd be what founding what? I
Well,
mean,
they didn't really
I mean, you've kind of
realize
founded
what it would
something.
become.
Yeah. Yeah. It has more significance now.
It's a bit
right?
arrogant
true.
saying we are the
We
founding
are the founding
Yes.
fathers. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I love it.
But
though.
they were a bit arrogant.
You'd
love
think
it.
so, wouldn't
Yeah.
you? Maybe. And we're going to get hate for that.
We can edit that bit out.
Well,
Martin.
this week I learned about Singapore and their organ donation system. So they've got an opt-out system. So everyone is automatically on the organ donor register.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're thinking about that, bringing that in the UK as well.
Ah,
Right.
okay. Yeah.
So, and that's an interesting fact in itself.
Hmm.
But if you decide to opt out of the system and not have your name on the list,
Yeah.
then you're given less priority if you then need an organ.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, and if you decide to opt back in, say you're like, actually, I've had a change of heart, I want to give my my retinas. You have to wait 2 years before you're eligible to be on the same status as people.
so people like can't.
So can't
abuse
just
the
be like,
system.
oh, my eyes
Yeah.
are fucked. I'm going to
Yeah.
I'm going to now opt in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What do you think of that? I like
Yeah.
that.
I kind of like it.
Do you think we should do something similar?
It feels
So like,
feels
someone's
a
like,
little bit.
eye for an eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't put your name down, so screw you.
But it kind of yeah.
It kind of makes sense,
it
though, right?
It does
Yeah.
make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But then you're getting into dangerous territory when you really think about it, because the logic there is if you're not part of the system, you don't deserve to benefit from it. Whereas we have a problem with that attitude over here, where it's like, if you're not putting into the welfare system, you don't deserve to get out of it. It's like the welfare system is there for the people who can't afford to put in.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
That's the difference, though,
Yeah.
right?
But in this, I guess everyone can
Everyone
afford
has an
it.
organ. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. What about those people who don't opt out but don't have the organ to give because of some
I imagine
medical
they'll be all
problem?
right,
Yeah, they don't get like
Yeah.
secondary status
Yeah,
or something.
exactly.
Oh, sorry, you're blind and don't have eyes, so you can't.
You
have
can't
this
get a
kidney.
retina. You can't get one yourself because you can't give one. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I thought that was kind of like,
That's
okay.
really I
Yeah.
kind of like it.
Intriguing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the idea of it. I'd need to know more about it before I could
Yeah.
fully endorse it. I
Okay,
think.
fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. Well, I learned about a program called Cat Positive.
Really?
It's a pun there, probably not a very good one, but
Yeah.
it's a program in America, I think, that teaches orphaned cats to high five, so they're more attractive for adoption.
Where's this? Sorry, I didn't get
I think so. It's like a program that goes to all different orphan shelters around the world. I think it's based in Iowa.
Orphan.
in Iowa,
shelters.
okay.
Yeah, animal like orphanages.
That's a thing.
Or like
doesn't-
animal shelters.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like a priority, really, does it?
Well,
Yeah.
apparently, like there were 400 cats who took part in the program, and all of them,
Did
all
they
of them,
voluntarily
They wrote
take
their names
part?
down. They signed up.
Yeah.
and all of them were adopted. So, I mean, hey, I think
But
that
then
that is
what-
the
but
kind of
then-
thing. If you go to a cat adoption place,
Yes.
you're gonna get the cat that high fives, right?
Admittedly, yeah.
Sure,
It's a
my-
good idea.
My cat high fives, but towards my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Not so
very
good. Also, I'm not sure the cat would want to be in a house with people that got him because he high fives.
I don't think the cat cares, as long as you're feeding him,
True. That's a good
him or
point.
her. Yeah.
Interesting though. I mean,
What do you think?
there's preferential treatment to certain cats though. Surely, if they were on a level playing field, there's no.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be
I
like, I'm
don't-
going
I
to
don't
train
think-
this cat to high five. Like, what? Why?
I don't think they rock up and be like, right, you've made the cut.
I just think it's a bit odd that someone would go into a cat shelter and be like, okay, I want that one because it high fives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the people that taught it to high five are like, yeah, go that cat because we taught it, as opposed to them going. It's not like people would rock up and then not get a cat because none of them high fived, right?
Yeah.
It's like they'll get a cat anyway.
Yeah.
So the whole thing about rescuing cats is that they would,
Maybe,
are they
yeah.
going to be like, oh, we've adopted this cat because we like the look of it. Oh, well, there's one over there that high fives. We'll get them both.
I think that could be it. That could be it.
yeah.
I mean, it's a bit
That'd be
niche,
great.
but
It does sound a little bit like I know you can apply that logic to any other situation, and it's just like you're up for adoption as a child. You're a human child, and if you're not trained in high fiving or potty trained, they're not going to take you.
Yeah.
And like that's a little weird when you apply it to another species.
That's the
Yeah,
parent
that's
trap,
so
isn't
true.
it? That's the
Yeah.
basis for the parent trap, isn't
No way. Is it actually?
it? No.
No,
I mean, that is a messed up
surely.
premise.
Can't really remember that
They
film.
split them up at.
Why did they
to
do
go
that
to-
again? What was the reason?
can't
For
remember.
plot reasons, Robin. For
Yeah,
plot
plot
reasons.
Because I watched
reasons.
that. I watched the original one a lot when I was a kid because my sisters really loved it.
Yeah.
But,
That's okay, Robin. You don't need to justify.
My sisters
why-
really loved it.
yeah. No, I enjoyed it too, but I can't remember why they're separated. Actually, now that you mention it,
just for plot
yeah,
reasons.
just
it's
for
fine.
plot reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like some animal shelters train
Yeah.
dogs to do certain tricks because it just makes them,
Yeah.
If you're
encourages
like-
people to like, oh, we've got to get that dog. It can
But if it's
roll
like-
over and play dead.
Yeah, I understand that if it's a dog that's not likely to get adopted regardless, right? If it's like a dog's it's only got 3 legs and it's missing an eye and it's really, really old, but they can high five.
Hey, it's got 3 legs and it can high five.
Yeah,
That's some kind of
exactly.
talent. Would you take the
Exactly.
3-legged dog that can high five over the 4-legged dog that can high five?
Actually, dogs can high five quite easy, can't they?
They can. In fact,
Just give you a paw, isn't it?
I have to confess, just last night I was watching Flashdance. You know, the 1983 movie. What a feeling! And there's a dog in that. She has the main character has a dog who's kind of cute, but he's one of those terrier type dogs. He's kind of scary, but he's actually quite adorable. At the end of the movie, the final scene, the dog is waiting, or rather, another character who doesn't own the dog is waiting with the dog, and the dog must be so well trained that he bends down to just kind of say, look, there she is. And without even looking at the other character, the dog just kind of holds out its arm like that. And the actor is just like, I'm going to rescue the situation, and just holds the dog's paw just to kind of like, it's like good thinking. Because I don't know, the dog must be trained to be like, oh, my owner's bending down, so I'm just going to put my hand out like that for some reason. But it was so cute. I was like, I want that dog.
They've kept it.
Yeah.
It's definitely dead now.
It's definitely dead. But
Definitely long gone.
it just,
Two kinds of people.
yeah. Yeah.
Definitely dead.
Nice. Well, that was what I learned this week.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Very good.
Um,
Very good. High fiving cats.
High-fiving
Organ
cats.
donation. And, some very contrasting topips there.
Yeah, I think this is revealing of what we look at online more than
Yeah.
anything else.
cat adoption programs. Is there something you want to tell us, Alex?
I like cats. I'm adopting cats. No, hang on. Don't focus on me. Martin's the one talking about the Singapore organ donation system.
That's true.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, he's got a family to think of, so.
Getting all the organs in while we can.
Which country would you like to move to most? Well, Singapore, because.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point. It's worth thinking about. You never know. So I thought we'd take the opportunity to thank a lot of our patrons because,
Yeah.
especially over the last, since the channel started,
Absolutely astonishing.
the support we've got on our Patreon has been fantastic. So if you
amazing.
want to
Thank
sign
you
up
so
and be a
much.
part of it as well, then please do. We'll leave a link in the description. There's lots of bonus episodes and having your name on every episode of Just Interesting too. But I thought we'd read out some of the names,
Yeah.
just of those who've kindly pledged to our Patreon, because we can't thank you enough. We're starting from scratch, and it's really allowing us to do this. So thank you so much.
Yeah, the faith you showed just by supporting us when all we had was one podcast episode is absolutely astonishing. Just mind blowing.
Thank you so much. Yeah,
there are a lot of names.
There are, so we'll go through them really quick. And,
a bit quickly, but
shall I go through until I run out of breath, and you can take over, Alex?
Okay. And I'd like to apologise in advance for
Names.
some pronunciations.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to get it wrong. So thank you so much to A Filthy Casual, Abby Weaver, Adam Coakley, Ahmed, Angus McChilly, Ash Heron, Asher Holland, Blake Austin, Bradley Foster, Brianna Foots. Okay, I'm so sorry for name pronunciations, by the way. Brian Benneker, Kerr Peterson, Carol C., Caroline Clark, Chris McCrite, Christopher Dietz, Dalton, Daniel Starr, Dave Patrick, Dina, Denton Peasley, Dev 800, Dulce Royale, Eddie Gurge. Okay, one of you guys take over.
Shall I go next? We were on Eddie Gurge, Edmund. Oh, you give me a Edmund Manalui, Eric.
That wasn't intentional at all.
Eric von Reichel, Etienne Rochelot, Fox Matthew, Fred Pulford, Griffin Talent, Hayden Smith, Henrik Schloblom. I hope that's right. Sorry, mate. Hunter Elias, Ian Davidson, Jacob Howell, Jade Hayward, Jamie Neve, Jared Coombe, Jade, Johnny Lee, Joseph Donahue, Josh Chomatek, Kay Say, Cadith, Kat Hales, Kelsey Chakanas, Christina Howard, Colby Boone, Leanne Chamberlain, and Lisa. On to page 2, Robin.
Madeline Reinecker, Marianne Kjeldsen, Matthias Fernqvist, Matt Graves, Matt Lanson, Michael Wilmot, Nathaniel Orr, Nipple Man.
I hope that's your real name. I do hope that's
your real name.
He's getting offended that we're laughing right now.
Preston Harrison, Raven Meakin, Robert Teenby, Sammy Metal Maiden, Sean Fury, Shauna, Simon Workman, Sophie Hobday, Stefan Caford, Thajumbo, Tina, Tom Odlin, and Yuki Vasquez.
Thank you
all so much. Yeah. That's incredible. All 70 odd of you. And there are probably more at the time of recording this.
You're being optimistic, are you?
If we haven't, we won't be optimistic. If we haven't listed your name, it's because we don't have you on our list at the time of recording this. But we'll definitely thank you in future. So thank you again.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, it's mad. And thank you so much.
So what's next? Weird news?
I think so.
Okay. You guys have some weird news stories that you'd like to talk about this week?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, I feel a bit... I hope this isn't too offensive. I call it weird news, but it's more like kind of unusual news.
We can be offensive now.
Unusual news. So
be as offensive as you want.
As you can.
Genuinely, I don't intend to be offensive. This is not so much weird news as just kind of unusual news.
Okay.
And it's as of January the 16th, 2020, a transgender woman called Ava Moore settled a case with Debenhams, which is a big high street, what do you call it? Like
department store.
Department store, yeah.
Settled the case for £9,000.
Okay.
And the case was over the fact that in the run-up to Christmas in 2018, in Ireland, Moore applied for a job as a temporary sales assistant, just for the Christmas season.
Sure.
Didn't get the role, despite having a good interview and lots of experience. But Moore didn't do anything about the fact that she didn't get the role until someone sent her an anonymous email saying that she didn't get the job because she was transgender.
Oh.
Yeah. And Debenhams has settled, but admits no liability.
Interesting.
So they don't know who sent the email?
Don't know who sent the email. I don't even know how that kind of factored as evidence into the case. Presumably it's very important evidence because it's somebody saying this, but how do you establish that an anonymous
that could
email
have been from
sender?
anyone.
Yeah.
Like she could have just got a friend to say that. I'm not accusing her. I'm just saying like that could have literally been anyone.
Yeah, I imagine that was a big part of Debenhams' defense, right?
I imagine that it wouldn't have held up in court. But Debenhams just wanted it to go away and not to have a court case, so they settled regardless, right?
Yeah. That might be why it was. I mean, £9,000 is nothing to sniff at, but as a settlement, that seems quite low, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
For the not to have the bad publicity is probably
exactly of it potentially being true, right?
Yeah. We can't even speculate on it because I mean, I mean, she could have received discrimination, or maybe
that's the thing, right? Like with. Of course, there's certain protocols that people hiring have to take. Yeah. You can't discriminate, especially in the UK. I don't know about everywhere in the world, but in the UK, you can't discriminate on age or gender or anything, or a variety of different
Yeah.
factors. And one of those is, of course, you can't discriminate with someone being transgender, but you wouldn't necessarily know that you had been discriminated against unless something like this came out.
Yeah.
So it must happen all the time, whether very, very overtly or whether subconsciously, that people do discriminate against certain candidates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't necessarily know. It's
I mean,
just,
there's huge loopholes in the system in Britain. This is in the UK, sorry, because as long as there are multiple candidates, the employer just has to demonstrate that the candidate that they pick is the best one for the role,
yeah.
and be able to demonstrate it. It's not because of a particular reason, as you said, Martin. But at the same time, you kind of need those loopholes, because if, say, you've got a job and you've got 100 applicants, somebody will be able to say they didn't get the job because they were discriminated against, right? The odds are that there's something they could say, look, you didn't pick me because of this. And of course, if that's true, then they should have the power to take it to court, much as Ava Moore did in this instance. But until you have evidence like that email, how do you prove anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, like she wouldn't have known if that email hadn't come out.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a wider problem of people who are transgender getting discriminated against still? Do you think that's
I
changed
assume
over
there is. I don't
the
know.
time?
Yeah.
Over time, I think that in the UK and probably the US as well, there's more awareness and acceptance in general.
Yeah.
I think there's
But
definitely
maybe we're in a bit of a bubble. Maybe
I
being in
think
London
there-
as well, everything
there's
kind of
part
goes.
that, being in a bubble. I think you're along the right lines with the subconsciously
Yeah.
discriminating against. I think that probably happens a lot, especially like with recruitment and stuff into jobs. Like, it's pretty easy to choose one candidate over another and I think you can let personal biases get in the way of that. But how this came out, if this was a genuine email, I mean, that it must have been from one of the other recruiters or something, like one of the people on the panel who maybe didn't feel comfortable with what was being said about her, or I don't know. Yeah.
Presumably, it was someone who was involved in the hiring process. It was just like, this is wrong.
Yeah.
But then didn't go through Debenhams HR or anything like that. Felt the need to send the email
directly,
to the person.
which is unusual.
Yeah.
You think they'd take? Maybe they're in HR, perhaps.
Maybe
It could be.
a lower down the ladder. And
It's interesting. These are anonymous, because there was another one recently where I don't know if you guys heard about it. It was in the Midlands, I think, in the UK, and someone had a botched operation. It was for, what was it, for like the gallbladder or something.
Yeah.
And in the process, for whatever reason, a wrong IV drip was given to them and they died. And it was kind of hush hush until someone who knew about it from the hospital sent an anonymous letter to the wife. I think it was a man who died. I can't remember, wife or husband of the patient. Said that something bad had happened, and now this particular NHS trust is being taken to court, being investigated as well. And of course, the NHS trust, instead of going and basically apologising and admitting what they had done wrong, their kind of primary focus was to try and find out who had been the mole who had ratted them out.
That's
exactly.
bad. Yeah.
Which it seems odd, because apparently these the staff were like interrogated, and there was like private investigators hired and stuff to look into them to find out who it was. And it's like, surely that's not your priority when something like this has happened.
Presumably
And
also
you've
using
basically covered up
money too.
the death of someone for you to cover your own backs.
That's
terrible.
mental.
Yeah.
That's
So
mad.
that came out in the news, I think, yesterday.
Oh,
Or the
wow.
day
That
before. Yeah, it's
recent.
pretty soon.
Yeah.
Or at least an advance on how the case is getting on. I saw it yesterday.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's obviously not an isolated incident of people writing these anonymous letters.
It's bad that we have a culture in the UK that seems to be a pattern of people feeling the need to anonymously inform the individuals involved in an incident, rather than just blowing a whistle officially.
Yeah.
Through the official channels.
Yeah.
And
Well, they know they'll be
always get
discriminated against themselves, right?
Oh, exactly. That's the thing. People, whenever there's some kind of anonymous thing, people will say, "Oh, why didn't they have the courage to come forward themselves and say this?" It's like, because they would get fired from from their job or whatever.
Clearly something is wrong.
Yeah, something's wrong. If that's what would happen, the repercussions for being a whistleblower.
Yeah.
Also, they might not want to if they're involved but didn't say up until that point, they don't want to get in trouble for it as well. Like legally, they could, with this person who died, if they were, say, in the operating room and knew what had gone on, it would be, why didn't you say earlier? And then maybe they don't want that either. It could be a personal preference to say it anonymously, so they're not directly involved in the investigation. And the hassle that goes on with that too.
Yeah. Wow. Heavy
Heavy.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I've got some a bit lighter news.
Oh, good.
Is it ice cubes in cereal? Or?
No, but it's basically on the same level. Oh no, this happened in Iowa. That's what I was confused with. An ex-husband has asked a judge for a duel by sword with his wife.
What?
Or someone she elects to fight as her champion. So I'm guessing this man, David Ostrom, he's in a court filing, and he said that his wife had destroyed him legally. So I'm guessing they're getting divorced or something.
Yeah.
That sounds like it. You'd hope so.
And he said the judge was able to let the parties resolve our disputes on the field of battle legally, as trial by combat has never been explicitly banned or restricted as a right in these United States.
So that means it still could go forward.
He's asked the judge
That's
for
ridiculous.
12 weeks time, so he could find or make Japanese samurai swords. Yeah,
That's not just a duel. That's like,
to the death. Yeah,
that is like, yeah. It's not draw first blood.
to the death. He said he wanted to settle things on the field of battle where he will rend their souls from their corporal bodies.
I'm guessing she successfully sued for divorce.
Yeah. It seems like someone who's insanely angry with the process.
Yeah.
And in the end, it's just gone, screw it. Let's just put up something completely ridiculous just to troll you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he said that
Mad.
he was inspired by a case in 2016 when New York Supreme Court Justice Philip Minardo admitted that duels had not been abolished.
Okay.
And the unusual request stemmed from his feelings of frustration with his ex-wife's lawyer, Matthew Hudson.
Name and shame.
And he said, I think I've met Mr. Hudson's absurdity with my own absurdity. So I think he's kind of doing it in a self-aware,
Right.
self-aware tone.
He knows it's ridiculous, surely.
Yeah.
He's not
Yeah.
actually expecting a duel to go ahead.
Yeah.
Although he wouldn't mind if it did.
Presumably. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the defense or prosecution, I'm not sure, but they basically responded by saying that
Yeah.
they respectfully request that the court not order this done, and they ask the court to consider Mr. Ostrom should have psychological treatment.
I don't think it's going to do his case any good, is it, really?
Yeah. It comes across as clearly anger.
Yeah.
But
Either way, the Iowa District Court has not yet ruled on the motion, so it could go ahead.
I imagine he's representing himself. No lawyer would say that's a good idea, right?
But yeah, well done to him for finding that kind of loophole.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough, man.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's kind of, that's interesting though. I wonder if actually, I assume duels have been abolished in this country, but I don't know.
No,
I don't
They
know.
kind of fell out of favour, but I don't know if they're
there's
actually
all-
technically illegal.
Well, there are all those old laws that still exist, like, you
Yeah.
can shoot a Welsh person coming over the walls of Chester after 7 p.m. or something like that. I
No,
don't know.
that
There's
does
lots.
that
There's some crazy laws like that
you're,
haven't
you're allowed to
officially haven't been.
kill a Scotsman with an arrow on Sunday or something in
These
York,
are just
which,
mad ones. Yeah,
which isn't true. Like that's one
No,
of those rumoured laws. I
it's-
was like, oh, it's true, but it's not
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Like, it was legal
It's one of
once,
those-
but it's been abolished.
yeah. It's technically not been made illegal, but the law it just doesn't no longer exists or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like
I mean,
the whole,
imagine if she took him up on this offer, though, and was like, okay, I'm going to kill you. Yeah, let's do
I
it.
bet she won't. I
Samurai
bet if
swords.
it does go that far, she'll find someone else to fight for her.
Why are you assuming that?
Because she sounds like she's smarter than him.
Fair, yeah.
She would
Yes.
hire somebody who
An
can
MMA fighter.
yeah, with a samurai
Actually,
sword,
yeah.
would that really work? Yeah.
Yeah. It depends.
Oh man, this is mad.
I think an MMA fighter would probably beat him even if he had a samurai sword.
Yeah, it's possible.
Just kick him in the face.
Unless he's super fast and just swipes the sword like that, and the
Chops
leg
off the
just
arm,
goes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, this week I wanted to bring a story that involves you two and me.
Oh no.
Well, and
That's
the rest
never good.
and the rest of the world.
Oh,
Okay.
right, okay.
Right.
Humans
Oh,
have been
okay.
getting cooler. Heard about this?
I think I did read this,
Yeah.
actually, yeah.
Wow.
So my body temperature,
Yeah.
the doctors say, and medical
Like
journals,
23 degrees or something like that, isn't it?
23 degrees,
Isn't that what it is?
37
23 degrees.
Oh, no, that's room temperature, isn't it? Yeah,
37 degrees.
37 degrees, yes.
And apparently this isn't right. So this was in the early 1800s. This was classed as the standard body temperature.
Early
for humans.
1800s. Wow, I didn't
Yes.
realise it was going back that far.
Yes, yeah. So the 37 degrees. But since then, this has basically been proven to be wrong. And actually, men and women are, I think, men are about 1 degree cooler than they were in the early 1800s, and women about 0.6 degrees cooler than they were.
So men are cooled more than women.
Yes, apparently so.
Because we're
Wonder
cool
why that
guys.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Huh.
And so, so they collected this data originally from Union Army soldiers from 1862 to 1930.
That is not the early 1800s. but
And
never mind.
before that as well. This was the first mass collection.
Yeah, yeah.
And then since then, it's seen that
Yeah.
our temperatures have actually cooled significantly. So it seems like it's 0.03 degrees Celsius have cooled respectively over each decade for that 150-year span.
Wow.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
our bodies are getting cooler
Yes.
and the planet's getting hotter.
Is
Exactly.
it anything
That's a
to do
good-
with
good mix.
clothing?
It seems like that could be the case.
Because our clothing has definitely decreased in thickness and quantity.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, think about it. If it's Union soldiers, they would have been wearing
Oh, yeah,
a
that's
shirt
true.
and then quite thick cotton,
Mm.
probably at least 2 layers in those jackets.
That's true.
And they're in the United States.
Mm.
So
Without aircon as well.
yeah.
I mean, the main things that they bring up here are the fact that we've grown in height and that we've grown in weight, and
Shut
we have
up.
better medical care and public health,
yeah,
and we have air conditioning and heating.
yeah,
And so all of these factors mean that we're more insulated, so our bodies are cooler in general. So the regulation of our body temperature is just in general is better, so we don't have to be as warm.
that makes
Fair
sense.
enough.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what amazes me is that this happened over such a relatively short period of time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If it continues, we'll soon be ice.
No, but it
That'd
does.
be cool though.
It does make
We
you
White
think.
Walkers.
Yet another
Let's hope
thing
so.
to chalk up on that humans are useless survivalists come the apocalypse column. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
another thing. It's like,
We're so well insulated.
yeah, you just pampered yourself so much you can't do anything. Hunter-gatherers, more like fat, lazy sods.
Yeah. Cold, fat, lazy sods.
Good
Cold.
self-burn.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, one of the other things that this article mentions is
Yeah.
the development of treatments for infectious diseases. So we don't have as much inflammatory of our body and our organs,
true.
which caused heat, supposedly. So in the average temperature of people would have been
Ooh,
warmer then because we would have
Yeah.
been more inflamed.
yeah,
Whereas since that's gone away,
Yeah.
we're just in general cooler.
that's a nature versus nurture argument, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like, are we naturally cooler? It's just that because we're always ill.
Yes.
Before we were,
Yes.
we were
Our temperatures were higher.
temperature,
Yeah.
people are like, oh no, it's natural to be infected.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. But
I mean,
also,
so that it means that when someone takes your temperature, if you're off school, you can no longer say, or you actually have more reason to say that you're unwell if your temperature's lower. As in before, you'd be like, oh, my temperature's 30, 38, 39, I've got a temperature. Whereas now, it only has to be, 37? And
Yeah.
I see what you
Your
mean.
temperature.
Yeah.
So does that mean as well, people
Slightly
have been
above
like,
average.
oh, you're 37, you're fine.
Yeah.
You're-
37 is probably still fine. I imagine that there's significant variation from person
Yeah.
to person,
Yeah.
right?
Although a 2-degree increase is quite dramatic, though.
2 degree, yeah.
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 That would be true. Yes.
I can just imagine the scenario where, past humans, the ghosts of past humans, looking down on people, kids skipping off school because they're ill. Just like in the past, they always joke like, "Oh, we used to be ill all the time," but now it's literally true.
Yes.
We were inflamed internally from infection all the time.
Back in my day, my body was 40 degrees.
Yeah, exactly.
And now I'm here.
It does make you wonder, though. Like,
Dead and a
previous to
ghost.
the early 1800s, was our body even warmer? What's the warmest our body temperature's ever got?
Yeah, yeah.
Not being unwell or as an average.
I
Could cook an egg on my stomach.
Yeah. Yeah. Back in the 7th century.
But I often think this,
Easy.
like when you go back like distant past, like early humans and stuff like that, wearing animal skins,
Yeah.
like in freezing cold temperatures,
You'd expect them to have to
with
be
no
warmer,
real
right?
shelter. Yeah, there must have been.
Yeah.
There must have been.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad we live now.
Yes.
Interesting stuff.
Goodness for heating.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah. Shall we move on to the question of the week?
I think we should.
Yeah. What was the question of the week?
This week's question of the week, which we put to our patrons actually,
We
did.
to get some of their responses. It's a bit late as we're well into January now, but what are our predictions for 2020 is the question,
Never too
Yes.
late to predict the future.
which I'm just realizing now.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it is a question. Yeah. No, I
Whoa,
thought I
whoa.
didn't phrase it as a question, but
You
it
did.
is a question.
You
Yeah.
did.
It is a question.
So what do you think's going to happen?
Well, should we go over what our patrons think will happen and then discuss some of their
Yeah,
predictions?
I think
for
that's a
the
good idea.
That's good.
century?
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so we asked the question, didn't we, Alex? We said, what's going to happen in 2020? Citing things like the presidential election,
Yeah.
The
exciting
Olympics?
things like the Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
People who we thought might die this year. So maybe
Yeah.
we'll go over those
Celebrities,
those few.
presumably.
Celebrities, yeah, not
My
just general
neighbour
people.
Karen.
Yeah, yeah.
Karen's definitely
Which
gonna
patron's
die,
going to die this year?
if I have anything to say about it.
So what did they say? What have we got?
Well, Angus McChilly, great name.
Thank you for your support, Angus.
Thank you. Yes, predicts that the Queen will pass away
Ooh, interesting. Okay,
and her reptilian form will be revealed.
perhaps.
Robin, that's me, will upgrade his OS.
Well, you're
and
going to
the
have to, aren't you?
The rise of the AI will truly begin with tea as the main fuel.
Yes,
Oh,
because we can apparently we can no longer use Apple Lightning cables as of the near future. Do you read that?
No,
I did.
It's actually
Yeah,
a thing.
the EU's saying that
Has
it
to be
needs to be
regular.
standardized, not because they're trying to be overbearing, although I guess it kind of is. But there's before there was like 50 different types of charging cable,
Yeah.
and now there's only 3, and they want to reduce it to reduce the waste of people throwing away charging cables.
I'm in favour of that.
Yeah, same.
And
Makes
also
sense, right?
anything as well that helps discourage Apple
From just making new shit so you
Yeah.
can't use the old shit.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm in favour of that too.
Mm.
The Queen will pass away. Sadly, I have to say, Angus, that seems quite likely.
I don't think it's going to be the Queen. I think it'll be
I
Philip
think
first.
Yeah,
Philip
Philip
first.
first.
And then she'll
Yeah.
maybe follow in 2022.
Yeah, given her
2022.
I think so.
her mum did
Calling it
live to
now.
101, didn't
Exactly,
she?
the genes are there.
and they must have the best medical care in Britain.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah, he's
right, yeah.
always going.
Must have.
Prince Philip's always going into hospital as a precaution, isn't he?
Yeah,
He's definitely getting his OS upgraded.
Yeah. And also, does the Queen die, or does she just shed her
take on a
human
new
skin
form?
and take on a new form?
Ooh, good question. Yeah, I'm not so sure about the second part, Angus, about her reptilian form being revealed. We'll see. Even if it is revealed, they'll keep it secret.
Robin's
true.
casting doubt on what you've said because he doesn't like that you're catching on to the second part of
Yes.
that Robin's
Well,
upgrading his OS.
I'm not deflecting. What are you talking about? Although tea is the main fuel, is actually.
Tea is a
That-
good
that's-
fuel.
that's
Have
a
you
good
got just some water? Okay, fair
Yeah,
enough.
I had tea before then.
It's not water, it's crude oil.
What else we got?
Denton Peasley says, due to the election results in the US of Trump winning, there will be a historic turnout of voters this year. Either for or against him, there will be the most voters in US history voting.
I could see that.
What do you think about that?
I could see that. I mean, there's a general trend towards voter apathy, isn't there? Even when Obama won his election and you saw the millions of people out on the streets, the voter turnout still wasn't insane, was it?
But his re-election was kind of standard
Yeah.
voter turnout, wasn't it? Not that exceptional. Yeah.
I do think that more people are paying attention to politics now, though.
Yeah.
I think he could be onto something. I feel like I don't know if it would favor Trump or be against Trump, but I think generally you can't escape him on the news. Like he's plastered front page basically every day, even over here. So
what I imagine is that if there's a likelihood that Trump might lose the presidential race, you may well see an increase in people for supporters of Trump going out and trying to ensure that he gets back into office. So I can see that happening.
See, but isn't that the great... that's always the great question, isn't it? Because Republican turnout is always reliably high, isn't it?
Yeah.
They have a greater or more consistently high voter turnout. I'm sure it can increase, obviously, particularly if there's a switch from voting Democrat to voting Republican, then Republican voter turnout will naturally increase. So my question is, given the voter turnout for the GOP was really high last time,
Is there enough?
technically they still lost the popular vote.
Is there enough space to increase
Yeah.
the vote?
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, it's true. I mean, will there be many new supporters of Trump? That's an interesting question.
It's hard to imagine there will be new supporters.
Yeah. I imagine it depends who's running against him as well, right? Because with Hillary, it was very much like a lot of people didn't want Hillary to be in office as much as they wanted Trump to be in office. They just didn't want Hillary regardless, right? Whether that be because they didn't agree with her policy, thought that she was being hypocritical or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that had a real boost.
Yeah.
Now you look at the opposition candidates and you're like, okay, which ones will actually entice people to go out and vote for Trump?
I think
Yeah.
the Democrats on a losing streak, to be honest.
Do you think they're going to lose this one as well?
Well, if it's Biden, he's just another bland white guy, centrist to the point of almost being a Republican. A lot of people won't want him. Well, why vote for him when they could vote for Trump? If it's not Biden, it'll be Sanders or Warren, both of whom
People think are.
could do well in Britain, but in America,
Yeah.
I think
You see
it could go the other way.
Corbyn,
yeah,
they would be considered left over there, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
By a lot of people.
which was
Corbyn's
ba-
considered left
exactly.
over here. If you draw parallels, there's definitely a move. It seems to be a move away from people being hardcore leftists, or what they
maybe
perceive to be hardcore leftists in both cases,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
or maybe there's just not enough to secure like the vote. Maybe there's more of Trump's base than there is of people that would support like hard left policies. Maybe the centrists would like much like the progressives didn't vote for Hillary in 2016. Maybe the centrists wouldn't vote for Bernie in 2020.
Yeah,
Who knows?
Yeah.
it's true.
I don't know.
think Trump may well have another term.
Either way, I think you might be onto something, Denton. He also predicts his celebrity deaths.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
yeah? Yeah.
interesting.
Betty White, Prince Charles, Alex Trebek.
Charles.
Um,
Alex Trebek. Oh yeah, I thought he'd already died, but he's still alive. Isn't
yeah, Jimmy Carter, and one of the Backstreet Boys.
Okay. Yeah, you've always got to
he?
put in
Any
a
particular reason? for
you've
that?
got to put in a wild card in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know the state of the
Yeah.
Backstreet Boys, whether one of them's sick or anything,
Yeah.
whether that's a genuine prediction.
Like my
or not,
wild card.
but,
I
Yeah,
said
I don't
in the
either.
Patreon announcement of this was Demi Lovato a couple
Demi
of
Lovato.
years back, and then she almost did die.
Did she?
Mm.
And it was a complete wild card because I knew she was a little bit,
Yeah.
you know,
Crazy.
interesting, let's say.
Yeah.
And then she almost did, and but she didn't, and so I missed out on that sportsman's wager.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I'm not going to say shame because, of course, we don't want anyone to die.
Well, Brian Benica says on the subject of celebrity deaths, and it brings it back around to politics again, Ginsburg, referring to Ruth Bader Ginsburg,
Oh yeah.
will probably die before the US election, which is an
before the
interesting
election.
one. Because we're in an election year now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if she does, then will the
Again.
Republicans put another Supreme Court justice on the
Ooh, interesting.
thing?
Yeah.
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 Interesting. It could be an interesting
I
one.
mean,
if that
other
does
ones
happen.
to think about are,
Yeah.
is the Clinton body count going to increase? Will we have another assassinated president? No one's mentioned that.
Will Trump die? Yeah.
No.
Mm.
No.
No, high security's too high.
It's too hard to kill a president these days.
It's just too hard.
It's too hard.
I've looked
I've
into
tried
it. It's not
some
possible. Yeah.
It's not to do with celebrity deaths, but it is kind of death might be involved. Josh Chomatek says, with the fires in Australia, Josh's home country,
Oh, okay.
hey Josh, the economy will crash hard and will basically become the Mad Max films.
Well,
Oh, wow.
It might be
Yeah,
as
I think so.
dusty.
It will be, yeah. It will be pretty dusty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The economy all crashed. That's an interesting one.
I mean, the market's always about perception, aren't they, and trust. And
Yeah.
so if the perception is that the fires are spreading and will cause, I don't know, even more damage to industry, then without actually affecting the cities directly, it could have a negative impact. Whether that will actually happen this next year, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On this, by the same token, Joseph Donahue says Australia will have a mild summer next year because there's nothing left to burn after this year, which is a very depressing,
Yeah, that's
depressing
quite
thought.
depressing.
But did you see? It actually rained. I just can't remember
is.
where.
I saw, yeah, I
It
saw that.
rained.
in Australia. Yeah, it rains in some region, but then it immediately caused floods, and
Oh,
then
for
the
God's
floods the floods washed all the kind of the ash from the
But that was helping
And-
things regrow, wasn't it?
what
Ash.
what the rain
Yeah.
the ash. Well, it washed all the ash into like rivers and streams,
Yeah.
and then killed loads of fish. So
Oh,
they can't
man.
seem to catch a break.
No, I feel very sorry for your
This is what happens.
country
Yeah.
at the moment, Josh.
Yeah,
Ecosystems
It's,
are delicate things, aren't
It is headline news over here too.
they? It really is, yeah.
Every day, pretty much. The climate change in general has become much more of an issue. I'd say even in the last couple of months, it's been a lot more talk about it.
But as always, there's lots of talk about it. Lots of people seem to express their desire to do something about it, then they keep electing governments who won't do anything about it.
Yep.
Even in Australia, sad to say.
Oh yeah, well that's the horrible irony of all of
Seems
this.
to be
isn't it?
the centre-right and the right-wing parties, the ones who care least about climate change, seem to be the ones who have a really good chokehold on power, in the West at least.
I mean, at the same time, because it hasn't been a viable alternative or an alternative elected, we don't necessarily know what the opposition would do if they are in power themselves. Right? They can give all the talk, but would they actually give the funding
it's true.
Yeah.
to change?
Um,
We wouldn't know.
I mean, and in fairness, like this has been decades, like kicking the can down the road. So it's just when is the can kicking gonna stop? I guess. Yeah. Asher Holland says the US election will be a shit show. Someone will probably get killed, which is
Okay, there we go.
a bold claim.
Just a person or like someone?
Yeah, maybe like I don't know
Like
who
a
he's
riot could
who
happen
they're
and someone
thinking.
could die. Is that what he means? Yeah.
Maybe
I could believe that,
maybe,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
The NHS will be sold off for a $5. A game that is wildly hyped will turn out to be bad.
What?
Someone will try and make LGBTQ illegal again. Disney will buy another property, and the UK will ask for an extension to Brexit. So we've got a lot
I
of
think
things.
a lot of
summed
those,
up
a lot of
there.
those make sense actually.
Yeah.
So what would the? Should we go through a few of those?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
what ones
start
were
with
there?
the top one. What was it?
So the US election will be a shit show.
Yes.
Oh,
I fully agree.
I think everyone would
Definitely
agree
is.
with that.
Yeah.
The NHS will be sold off for a $5. Oh, there's a thorny topic.
I think there'll be a continual deconstruction, but it'll be done under cloak and dagger, as it has been for quite a few years.
I saw that they were getting rid of the, they have wait times. What is it? Targets.
Yeah.
They're getting rid of the targets for
Getting rid
wait
of targets, a good one.
because they weren't being met.
Yeah.
Well, it was never ever reached.
So there was that. A game that is wildly hyped will turn out to be bad.
Oh,
Yeah,
which
Surprise.
yeah,
Cyberpunk
that
has
always
been
happens.
pushed back already, hasn't it?
I'm really worried about Cyberpunk. I mean,
Really? Why?
I really hope that it's like as good as it's promised, but it's very ambitious. I think.
Be pushed back and then rubbish. That'll just destroy a lot of people.
Yeah,
It wouldn't be rubbish. It'll probably. I think people are spoiled in every media, whether it's film or TV shows or whatever. As soon as there's hype, you're doomed to fail.
and there's
Yeah.
a lot of hype.
You can never
There's a
meet the
lot of
hype.
hype
That's
for it.
true.
But it will actually be a perfectly serviceable game.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is probably more entertaining than most games. But because people have massive expectations and because games take so long to develop, so people have time to think about them.
Disney will buy another property,
Not
which
this
is
year. Not this year.
not this year.
Oh, these
Who
things
they buy?
these things take too long to sort out, so they announce it like a year before it
Oh,
happens.
okay.
Who's at the top of the list? Or
Warner
not?
Brothers.
Warner
They'll buy one. No, they won't.
No.
They won't. They want to probably. Yeah. What properties? There was a rumor that they might go after James Bond because at the moment the next Bond movie, which is coming out in April, is under a one-picture distribution deal with Universal.
Yeah.
So after that, James Bond will be up for sale again.
They only really give a shit though about. Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense because it's a franchise.
Yeah.
It's something they can expand into other.
Yeah.
They want to make TV
They
series,
could
for
definitely
instance,
do
other
spin-offs,
universes,
if they want.
merchandise as
Yeah.
well.
And right now, because Daniel Craig is stepping down, now's the time that everyone's like, we want to buy Bond.
Yeah.
Because we
To
can do it our way,
invent it.
with our guy. Or our
That's
woman,
interesting.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I loved. this was my favorite comment, I have to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
This one's from Ian Davidson. Says Steve Buscemi tragically dies from potassium poisoning in the making of Marvel's Banana Man Origins. His death sparks controversy over the ethics of the film industry as a video is leaked depicting Buscemi losing it with director David Fincher after being asked to repeat the "when Eric eats a banana" scene for the 127th time. He also predicts a border collie beats Donald Trump in the US election by less than 100 votes. President Rover led his campaign by promising to build a fence around immigrant sheep. Shares and pedigree chum reach an all-time high. The remaining Chuckle brother inadvertently invents a cure for cancer by crashing his unbalanced quadricycle into a chemistry lab, mixing titanium and uranium together, making the wonder cure known as TIU.
Wow.
TIU.
Wow. I mean, you have an inventive brain
uranium.
there.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. All true. Yeah.
All true.
gonna happen.
Definitely going
I
to
think
happen.
that's the most
I mean,
believable.
Steve
down to
Buscemi
earth.
dying actually might happen. Maybe not from potassium overdose,
No.
but we'll find out.
Yeah.
the other
David
Chuckle
Fincher.
brother. Unbalanced quadricycle.
Oh,
Very
hilarious.
good. Very
Oh,
good.
it's so good.
Nice.
Congratulations on a fantastic
Banana Man
post.
is not Marvel though, is it?
No.
Banana Man is.
Banana belongs to. Does it belong to
Dandy or
Beano guys? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They will be Marvel eventually, won't they?
Well, I think that was all the comments that we had on Patreon
Amazing.
that we've had a look at. So
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great stuff there.
That was really good.
What do you guys think?
What will happen in 2020?
Yeah. What's the most believable prediction? Do you think the Olympics are going to be good? 2020.
Probably.
Olympics
They
in
usually
Japan.
be. Yeah.
Tokyo.
Well, it depends how
Yeah.
you define good. Good
The
for
rug-
somebody.
The
right?
Rugby World Cup was amazing in Japan.
It was.
So, like, apparently the Japanese hosts were like incredible, so hospitable. It ran really efficiently, apart even though there was like what are they called? Tornadoes. What are they called? Cyclones.
Cyclones, yeah.
Typhoon. Cyclone.
Yeah.
Typhoon, one
Yeah,
of the
whatever.
two.
Whatever.
And yeah, so that was amazing. So I imagine the Olympics would just be that, but on such a big scale.
Yeah, I haven't looked into it, but I really must check out the Olympic Stadium site and the Olympic Village. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
Because Japan's not exactly bursting with space.
No, true.
True.
But
They'll have to build upwards. It'll be fine.
I've heard that they've got an artificial meteor shower for the opening ceremony. So it's
Okay.
like
Sounds good.
this
like
thing
send
that
a
goes into
satellite
space,
yeah.
and then they burn it up in the atmosphere with all these colors.
Yeah.
So it's actually like shooting stars across the.
Incredible.
Wow.
And
Which is-
wasteful, but
Oh,
incredible.
yeah.
It's like fireworks, but taken to a
The next
completely
level.
next level. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
And then Paralympics will probably just get largely ignored.
As always.
Fortunately.
Yeah.
It didn't in London, actually. It was a good.
It was quite good.
It was
Wasn't
good
it?
night.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
sponsored by some major players.
Did I ever
Yeah.
tell you that the opening ceremony for the Paralympics, I was watching it on TV. I just tuned in when Coldplay started,
Oh, yeah.
and Coldplay were doing the song Paradise. But
Oh,
I'd never heard it before.
Para.
So yeah.
Oh, no.
So and the way he must, it was like, yeah, the way he was singing it, I genuinely was in shock. I was just like, is he singing Paradise?
Paralyzed.
Is he singing Paradise? I was like, this is not.
Para.
And then someone showed me the
Paralyzed.
lyrics. Exactly.
Wow. They're taking this quite
no.
literally.
Oh, that's
Oh.
a swing and a miss there.
Yeah. That's a good point.
And someone showed me the lyrics, and it was all fine.
Okay, so that's the Olympics.
Paralyzed.
So that's in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And then the 2020.
election. We've already said. We're
I think
thinking
Donald Trump
will win.
probably will
Yeah.
probably will get a term
win
there.
again.
Yeah. It'll be close though.
Yeah. And with that, should we move on to a quiz?
Yeah. Let's have a quiz. Gentlemen, welcome to this week's quiz.
Woo! Yeah.
So, Martin, you won last week, so you are currently 1-0 up.
Champione.
That's right. We're keeping a running total of the quizzes.
Oh no.
So Martin's got advantage.
Okay.
As always, 10 questions plus a bonus question, which we will do anyway because,
Yeah.
kind of
Tiebreaker
people
or
we
not,
are.
we'll do it.
Yeah.
let's hear your buzzers. Robin, what have you got for me?
That's exactly what they'll be expecting us to do.
Oh,
That is none other than William Shatner from Airplane 2, the sequel.
Okay. I haven't seen
Airplane
Airplane 2.
2.
I've only seen the first one.
Oh, that's good.
I didn't realize that they actually made a sequel and it came on the TV one day and I was like, what is happening? This is mad.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
It's not as good, but it's still good.
Fair
I
enough.
haven't seen it. No.
Martin, what's your buzzer?
Oops.
Oh,
Oh, just
Daisy
whack the
almost
table.
just smashed the table. Mine's a classic from a sports reporter.
And boom goes the dynamite.
So if you haven't seen that,
oh my God.
What was that?
that was another sound effect that just came on afterwards. Backer.
Drive the
I don't want
power.
that one. I want the first one, thanks. Boom goes the dynamite. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
there it is
There
again.
you go.
That's
There we
great.
go.
That's a great one.
If you haven't seen that video, it's excruciating. The full video.
That sounds appealing. Okay. Question 1.
Oh.
The asteroid belt lies between which two planets in the solar system?
And boom goes the dynamite.
I think Robin just got in there.
Yeah.
That was a race between buzzers, I think.
It was. Was it? Is it Mars and Jupiter? Isn't it?
It is Mars and Jupiter. Yes. Yeah.
Well
nice,
done, well
nice
done.
little simple one. Start
Nice,
you off with.
get you going.
Yeah.
Get the blood pumping, so to speak.
exactly.
Oh, it's
With a
all
warm-up.
downhill from here.
Question 2.
Yep.
During which month in 1666 did the Great Fire of London rage for 4 days? We've both covered that. We've
should
covered
know
this in the
this.
topic.
Oh.
I'm going to go. What the hell's that? I'm going to go for. Sorry.
Oh no! I have the
high ground.
I have the high ground.
This is a guess, but I'm going to go for a summer month because that makes more sense. I'm going to go for or summerish month, May.
It is not May.
Okay.
That's exactly what they'll be expecting us to do.
What? Say May.
You know, I'm really disappointed with myself that I don't know this because we've made videos about
Yes.
it
Yep.
before.
The months are difficult though. It's a difficult one to remember.
I'm going to say October.
It is not October.
Okay.
I knew it wasn't.
I mean,
Well,
I imagine that we only get one more guess each. Otherwise, we
Yeah.
we give it
Just go
up.
through them, yeah.
I'm going to go for
And boom goes the dynamite.
Dana. July.
It is not July.
Damn it.
That's exactly what they'll be expecting us to do.
August.
It's not August.
What is
Ah,
it?
Darn.
So I give you a clue.
No, just
Yeah, that's all right.
It was September.
would have been my next guess.
See,
Yeah,
August,
you were
September,
close.
October. I
You
was
went-
in the right region.
You went
Yeah.
August, October.
I just
You missed
skipped the actual
September.
month.
Yeah.
Silly boy.
Okay, 1-0 still.
Question 3. In which year did the Boeing 747 make its maiden flight?
Ooh.
Closest wins. I'll accept closest wins on this one.
That's exactly what they'll be expecting us to do.
1963.
Okay.
I was going to go for a little bit later.
Yeah.
I was going to go for the 70s. I was thinking 1974.
Okay.
1974. If it's closest wins, Martin wins, and I think it's very close actually. Wait, 73? Yes, Martin wins by 1 year.
No.
It was 1969.
Oh,
You said 1963.
I did. Yeah. So I was 6 years off.
So,
No,
so
it's
you're
four
Five.
years off.
you were 5 years
Oh,
off.
69.
6
Yeah.
years off.
Oh, did I say 1973?
69.
It's 4 years off.
So later. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it was 60s. I thought it was like early. Obviously, I said it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that late.
It was
Yeah.
a huge technological advancement that was probably overshadowed by the moon landing. So,
Slightly.
yeah.
I have the high ground.
Get your buzzers in order, or I'm going to start deducting
Can't
points.
control the chat. The chat now.
I figured it out. I got it.
Just
I
making
get
sure.
the joke. I get the joke.
Okay, so that's 1-all.
1-all.
Question 4. What type of creature is a remora?
How do you spell that?
Remora.
Can you use it in a sentence?
The remora is what type of creature?
Remora.
Aha,
The
clever.
remora.
The remora.
Okay.
That's
It's a
interesting.
very simple, like,
Yeah.
the baseline animal terms.
Yeah, sure.
It's not a specific
Yes.
thing.
more specific than insect.
We
It's a type of animal,
not
right?
really.
Okay.
Not really. Oh.
Okay.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Lizard.
Not a lizard.
What is it? Remora.
Remora. It sounds
That's a good
Remora.
guess. Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Sounds a bit lizardy.
right.
That's exactly what they'll be expecting us to go.
A fish.
It is a fish.
Yes.
That,
You
gene-
go-
that
you-
generic.
that
Yeah,
generic.
well, there we go.
Bird
Wow.
fish. Yeah, that's what you. That's
It's
the,
a,
the
it's a
kind of
bird
level.
fish, is it?
The birdfish.
It's not a bird.
What
fish,
is
no.
it?
You just said bird.
What type of fish?
I don't know. I
Do you know
don't- it's
anything
a,
about
what
it?
is
It's a
remora?
remora.
Oh, come on. Can you eat it? I'm guessing not. I've never seen it on the menu. Or have
No.
I? I don't know.
I
Could
don't
be,
know.
enda-
You're
could
not
be
giving us no
endangered.
information, Alex.
Doesn't matter.
Could be endangered. Could not.
Look, you've
We'll
learned.
never know.
Look, you've learned something, and that's
If
what
you-
this
if
If you
quiz
at
is
home
about.
fancy
A
looking up a
remora.
remora and telling us what it is, please,
Please do. Use our Twitter handles. I'm at Alltime Robin.
I'm at Alltime Martin for now.
I'm at Alex Brown ATC, which
Oh,
we
yeah,
should
we
change.
should
I
definitely
looked at
change those,
changing
yeah.
mine and like just interesting Martin and Martin just interesting. They're all taken.
No,
So I'm
really?
or there's too many characters.
Just Martin Interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some kind of play around of like JI or
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
JIM. Just Interesting
JIM.
Martin. Jim.
Jim at Jim. I think that might be taken.
I don't know. You never know.
Okay, question
Okay,
5.
2-1.
Okay.
2-1 to Robin. Sorry. How many English kings feature in the titles of Shakespeare plays?
Oh.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Martin.
6.
It's not 6.
It's too many. Isn't it?
You were very. I thought you.
I thought
yeah.
you were- yeah, that was so
You were
quick. I thought
super
you were
confident
right
there.
Is this a question of how many Shakespeare plays have kings
Oh.
in the name, or how many?
In the title, right?
Feature in the title.
Yeah,
So
or
it's
how
gonna
many different kings are featured in play titles?
I think it's just kings and titles. Like I
So
think
how
it's-
many plays have kings in their titles?
Yes, I
Right,
think that's
okay.
the. I think
I
that's the
shouldn't have gone
question.
in so quickly.
Specifically English?
How many English kings?
Okay. How many
Okay.
can I
Okay,
remember?
I'm looking this up
I've
now.
got my backup.
And my buzzer's gone.
Exactly what they'll be expecting us to go.
Go on then.
I'm assuming this is wrong. It's 4.
That is wrong. That is wrong.
Yeah.
4's wrong. That only leaves
So
3.
what else is there?
That only leaves 3, Alex.
Hmm?
That only leaves 3.
There's not 3.
What? No, I wasn't saying 3. I was just saying that only leaves 3. Others. So it must be 4 plus 3. It must be 7.
What are
I'm
you
so
talking
confused
about?
right now.
What are you
No,
talking
I said
about?
3. That was my guess.
Oh, okay. No, it's not 3 either.
I
Do you
was
want,
trying to work my way around.
there's no way to give you a clue, is there?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, should we go through them? Should we go through them together?
Go on.
Richard III,
A good point. I'd forgotten about that.
King Lear.
This is my question.
Is King Lear in English?
I would say no.
No. So then you've got what ones are there? There's
Macbeth, Scottish. Obviously
Yeah.
doesn't count.
no.
Henry.
Henry.
But then this is my
Henry the-
question, like, because there's several Henry plays.
There are, aren't there?
But it's the same Henry.
I think it's like the plays, not the. It can
Yeah.
it can count.
It's going to be more.
so
Then.
it can count. Henry can count multiple times.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a few of those, aren't there?
Yeah.
Fifth is one.
Henry V. Yeah. Multiple parts.
Are we going through
Was there a
different
Henry
parts?
IV part 1 and 2, or was it just a Henry IV once? Was there even a Henry IV?
Why do
I
you do
don't
this to
know
us,
anymore.
Alex? Why do you do this to us?
I'm going to tell you the answer.
tell
Because
us.
this is
Okay, I
going,
don't think we're
going
gonna-
Have
Yeah.
another guess.
What
I've
is
had
it?
2 guesses. You have another guess.
Oh, what have we got to? 5. Did you say 5?
No.
It is not 5.
Oh.
No,
It's gonna be tons,
there's
isn't it?
8.
It's 8.
Fair enough.
There's 8. Do you want the list?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Edward III,
Oh.
Richard.
Didn't even know there was an Edward
Oh
III.
wait, no, sorry. Misunderstanding. There's actually 9. Edward III
What?
is believed by some scholars to be authored by Shakespeare, but it has not historically been included in the Shakespeare canon.
Okay, because I wasn't,
Okay.
I wasn't
I've never
familiar
heard
with.
that. Yeah.
Richard II, Henry
Okay.
Henry IV, Part 1,
Ah, there we go. There's your
Part
part.
2, Henry VI, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3,
Oh, gosh.
Henry V, and Richard III.
So King Lear didn't come into it.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
English
Okay.
kings.
I see.
All right.
There you go.
Forgotten all about
English
Henry
kings.
VI, part 1, 2, and 3. Crazy.
Okay, 8. Interesting.
Ah.
So there you go.
Fountain of knowledge.
Question 6. No, neither of you got that point?
No.
So it's 2-1 to Robin
2-1.
still.
Yeah.
Who plays the title role in the US television series Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
And boom goes the dynamite.
Martin?
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
It is Sarah Michelle Gellar, yes.
Isn't she Sarah Michelle Prince Jr. now?
Not
Um,
well, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or did
Maybe
she keep her
technically
name?
correct.
A lot of famous people
Presumably.
keep their names, don't they?
Yeah.
It's a good question, actually. Maybe I should
Although
have
now-
looked it up.
although- now-
Professionally, she's still
she-
Sarah
she
Michelle
wa-
Gellar, so
yeah.
she counts, yeah.
And I imagine when she played the role,
she was still-
too.
Yeah.
yeah.
And you got it. You got the answer.
Yeah, you got
so 2-all.
Ah,
Question 7.
ah.
In 2012, which film director became
Kenny.
the first...
Kenny 2012. Carry on.
Do you just interrupt? Okay, it's 2-1 to Robin again. Question 7. In 2012, which film director became the first solo diver to reach the bottom of the Mariana Trench in a submarine?
What they'll be expecting us to do.
Don't know.
James Cameron.
It was James Cameron. Do you not see this? Oh, that's pretty big
There you go,
news.
there's
It was
no-
Coney
there's no
2012 was
film
taking up all the
director
news,
who's-
okay? Coney 2012 was taking up the news, and the Olympics are on. I didn't have time for James Cameron and a submarine.
Okay, fair enough. So that's 3-2. 3-2 to Robin. Question 8.
Oh, it's close.
It is.
The second full moon occurring within a calendar month is known as what?
Oh, second full moon. Oh,
Occurring within a calendar month.
The something moon, I'm guessing.
oh no, I didn't mean to press that.
You would be right.
The second full moon in a month.
The second full moon is known as the...
I mean,
I'm
there-
guessing it must be like right at the end of one month, or like right at the start of the month and then right at the end. I guess that's the only way it could
Probably.
happen.
Yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it?
There's obviously a very specific name for it that we haven't heard of.
Do you want a clue?
Or
You
we
would
might
have heard of
it
it.
and just not really thought about it.
Do you want a clue?
Yeah.
A fingers on buzzers clue.
Is it?
Yep, 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 yep.
Once in a.
And boom goes the dynamite.
I don't even know who that was. Come on, honor system. Who do you think got
I think mine froze, so I think Martin got that first.
that? Okay, Martin.
Should we just say it both at the same time?
You don't know.
Well, no, because
You're not going to get
we're
the point.
both going to get it.
Do you
so
wanna- okay.
One of us has to get the point. So Martin, go first.
But okay, blue.
There you go.
Once in a blue moon. Yeah.
Yeah. Once
It's
in a
not
blue.
So why is it
Once
called
in a
blue
blue moon.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. I don't
Once in
know.
a blue
That's not
moon.
my job.
Do you mean
So
once
rare.
a month?
Okay, question 9.
Okay.
It's 3-all.
Oh.
The Nanpu Bridge is in which Chinese city?
Ooh.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Martin.
Beijing.
It is not Beijing.
That's exactly what they'll be expecting us to do.
Stab in the dark. Kunming.
It is not Kunming.
What other Chinese cities?
Is it
You would
famous?
have, yes.
Exactly what they'll be expecting us to do.
Go on then, Robin.
Shanghai.
I mean, you had a second guess straight away. Is that allowed? Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
It is Shanghai, yes.
Thank you, Martin, for your
That's all
gracious.
But just so you know, Robin, I'm frowning, frowning upon that.
Bad behaviour.
I think after
Nice
you've both
clean
had a
game.
guess, then it's open again, isn't it? For one of
Yeah,
someone to
okay.
buzz
That's
in.
what I assumed.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Fair enough. Okay, so that's 4-3 to Robin as we go on to question 10.
Okay.
Which computer company... Oh, sorry.
It's good, all good, all good.
All good. Which computer company was founded in 1983 as the Control Video Corporation?
Control Video
And boom
Corporation.
goes the dynamite.
Martin.
Intel.
It was not Intel.
Control Video Corporation.
The Control Video Corporation.
Microsoft was 70s, wasn't it? Apple was definitely like late 70s.
Yeah.
What other computer companies
the
are there? Hewlett Packard's been around
Yeah,
forever.
that's it for ages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else we got? We got Dell.
Dell.
Are they?
Dell, Acer.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they'll be expecting us to do.
Is it Acer?
It is not Acer.
Oh.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Is it Dell?
It's not Dell.
Oh,
I'll give you a little
Okay.
clue. It's kind of
Do they make computers?
no.
Okay.
It's more of
Or
a
what?
kind of internet-y thing, I guess.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Martin.
Internet Explorer.
No, it's not Internet Explorer.
Ah. Oh, it's bigger than that.
They'll be expecting us to do.
AOL.
It's AOL.
Yeah.
Nice. I would have gone for AOL. Well done.
That's
very
weird
good.
because AOL feels like they've always been AOL. That's why,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
AOL is so distinctive.
I imagine they changed their name shortly afterwards.
Yeah.
CPC.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah.
Cool.
So was that did Robin won 5-3?
5-3.
Possibly.
Yeah,
yes.
very
think
good.
so.
Very good.
Nice game. So 1 each.
1-1, yeah.
in
Yeah.
terms of games.
That
Very
means
good.
only one of us has lost all their games so far.
You've only,
okay,
you haven't
fine,
played
I've
one.
only
You've only
played
played one.
I know, I'm joking.
Do you want the bonus question?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is one that I
Is that
think
Buzz's
you'll
thing? Yeah.
I think you'll both know,
Okay.
and I'm interested to get your opinions on actually. Who
Opinion? Yeah.
who has been chosen to produce the Bond song for the is it No Time to
yeah,
Die,
what's
the
her
new
name?
one?
What's her name?
Exactly what they'll be expecting us to do.
Billie Eilish.
That's
It
it.
is.
It is.
Yeah.
With
How
her
do you
brother,
feel
right?
about with her brother.
Must confess, only fully became aware of her existence when
When that happened.
when rumours circulated
Oh, really?
that she would be the singer.
You
and
recognise some of her
only
songs
listened
for
to-
sure.
Yeah, I listened to her songs
On the
after they
radio
announced it,
a lot.
and I think there was one that I was like, I think I've heard this.
Yeah.
Interesting artist.
Hmm.
What do you think?
I'd say you can never judge an artist and what they've made, whether they'll then make a good Bond song. It's not
Yeah,
always the
It's
case.
difficult, yeah.
It's not always the case.
Definitely,
you can make a
for
very,
sure.
very good Bond song.
Yeah.
Then again, Madonna made a terrible Bond song.
That's true. She
and
did.
a lot of her back catalogue's pretty
Yeah.
terrible too.
But
So,
presumably, Billie Eilish will be working at least in a small part with Hans Zimmer, who's the new composer.
Yes.
right?
Oh.
Yeah, you'd imagine
And
so, wouldn't you?
she and her brother have written the song already, apparently, but the composer of the film is normally involved with the music of the song. So presumably Hans Zimmer will get involved. So that could be a really interesting combination.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people have said, oh, we want someone classic. They'll go back to the Shirley Bassey days. And it's like, she wasn't picked because she sounded like Shirley Bassey. She was picked because she was popular at the time. They pick pop stars to do
yeah,
the songs, right?
Yeah.
And so when people are like, oh, we need someone who's more
Yeah.
classical and want it to be
Yeah.
more, it's like, well, these people were just
Yeah.
pop stars for their time.
That is
Yeah.
my only misgiving. Or not even misgiving, just kind of like, I don't know what to think. Because Billie Eilish's singing style is like mumblecore, right?
Yeah.
It's just, she can carry a tune.
I'm
but
sure she can sing.
I just can't
I
imagine. I don't know what she's going to do. And I can't imagine a Bond song with her style. It's kind of weird
Yeah.
to think of it.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
It's interesting.
The
Interesting.
Bond songs
either way.
are, it's one of those things, even before this, so for the last couple of weeks, not for the last, but a couple of weeks ago, I looked up
Yeah.
like people's rankings of the Bond songs. I know we've discussed it ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
And we all have different ideas about which one's the best and which one's the worst. But they do go down in history as that will be on one of those lists, and you're just
Yeah.
like, okay, we don't want it to be near the bottom, if possible.
Well, yeah. At least, even just within the Craig era, let alone in the Bond song era, there's a couple of songs that she can easily beat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
This particular ranking that I looked at, can you guess what the bottom few were?
I don't know
Would
if
be
that well. The
another-
Madonna one.
Yeah, that was right at the bottom. That was,
And
that was the
then
worst one.
Another Way to Die above that.
No, that wasn't on the bottom. This was bottom 5, top 5. So no, that wasn't.
That wasn't the bottom 5.
No, I don't think it should be either. I like that one. Apart
Really?
from the Strangled Cat breakdown bit.
Plus, I mean, that's half the song is terrible.
The beginning of it is good though.
Yeah,
then
but
you just
half
turn-
the
then
song
turn
is
it off.
terrible. Yeah.
Pretend it.
How
Pretend
would they
it.
put all time high? I'm guessing they would have put.
Yeah,
down
that
the
was
bottom.
bottom 5.
I like that though, but it's not. Yeah, it's forgettable.
Oh, no.
Are they also on those For Your Eyes Only haters?
Yep, that was
That's a
from.
No, that's a great song. Great song.
The article you've read is bullshit.
No, I agreed with
Probably.
it in large. One of them I definitely
Yeah.
didn't agree with was the other one that was not on the list, which is the Living Daylights. Good song.
Well, they put it in
They
the
put that on the bottom
bottom
5.
Yeah, there's that. I can counter those kind of lists before. There's clearly a certain mindset that just like
Yeah, I've encountered those lists.
doesn't get.
And of
that.
course, they
Yeah.
put all the ones they put right at the top, all the classic ones, aren't they? Like The Spy Who Loved Me,
What was that number one? Or was-
Goldfinger.
What was number one?
It was A Spy Who Loved Me. Yeah,
was A Spy
they
Who
put number one.
Oh,
they had GoldenEye in the top 5. From Russia with
That's one
Love.
of the best ones, but not top 5.
Louis Armstrong, Her Majesty's Secret Service, and
all
I
the time in the
think
world, yeah.
A View to a Kill was there too.
In the top 5.
Duran Duran. I could put that in my top 5.
I wouldn't put it in my top 5. But you can't put that in the top 5 and then put Living Daylights in your
Yes,
bottom
that's
5.
what I was thinking. Yeah,
Those songs are so similar. You can't. Yeah, that's mad.
See, I've
Alex
made
is
the
just lost.
classic mistake here of
Yeah.
bringing up Bond songs.
You'll learn, Alex. You'll learn.
Yeah. So, a question for next week's podcast is: what's your favourite Bond song? No, we'll talk about that another time. Speaking of questions, Martin, thank you for the quiz, Alex.
Oh,
that was
you're
really
welcome.
good. That was
You're
great.
welcome.
Yeah.
And how did you do at home? Let us know your score. No cheating. And thanks again to everyone who supported us on Patreon. We'll be putting out polls on the Patreon for what questions you want us to see us cover
Yep, and
in
there'll be
future podcasts.
The custom video on there after this episode as well that you can click through and watch exclusively for patrons as well.
Exactly. And if not, then I hope you found this podcast just interesting.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
See you
Bye
next
for
time.
now.